Actually, this morning, I think it's raining everywhere in the Kurunegala district. However, no amount of rain can take away the joy we have here. We are teaching the children how to solve problems, and that's what we have been teaching. This means there are two methods of teaching. During teaching, we can teach questions as well. When questions are taught, everyone goes to places where they can discuss questions and listen. However, the other method is to give questions and ask them to find the answers. We have been using the second method. This means there is always a question. There is an answer to that question. It is the same with rain. There is an answer. Just because it rained doesn't mean we can make it a problem. At most, we might say it will get a bit wet, and that's how we conclude the question. Similarly, if we consider how fortunate all the children who are present here today are, we can say that this celebration is indeed based on the efforts of those children. If we hadn't learned in this way, we wouldn't be able to hold such a celebration. But how did we all get involved in this celebration today? Why did I think of it this way? Because we are a country with a rich history. Therefore, generally, what I do is simply look into how that wealth came to be. However, what is the fundamental aspect there? It's the connection between the village and the temple. Because the guidance of the leader monk in the village temple is the only reason for the village's progress. The people in the village are unwilling to connect from family to family. Only the monks in the village pray for the well-being of everyone in the village. Consider this. If you take the village temple and look at it, it is the monks of the temple who have that prayer. For the children, there are mothers and fathers present. After the mothers and fathers, who is praying? It's the village temple. Because we cannot forget this rich culture. Therefore, I chose the temple as well. The only thing we can gain from this rich culture is the temple. Now, some people really don't understand this. What I mean is, there is a leader among the monks, and what have the senior monks in the temple done throughout their lives? They have dedicated their entire lives for others. Who has dedicated their entire life for you? Is there anyone who has dedicated their whole life? No. But does anyone understand the value of this? If we say that the leaders in the village temple and all the other monks have given their entire lives for the well-being of the people in the village, who would believe it? You have learned about the Jataka tales. Parents have learned and children have learned to give their eyes, their hair and their blood. All of this has been heard. But in our country, all the monks in the temples have dedicated their entire lives. If one considers this without illuminating the jewel they have, then it won't hold any value. However, I have looked at it from a different perspective. I am about to turn 450 days having opened the DP Education IT campus. By now, 150 DP IT campuses have been established. The 136th one has just been opened. This means we are building a campus somewhere in Sri Lanka every 3 days. Each of these campuses can accommodate about 1,000 children. However, this cannot be done by the government. I can never go to the government and criticize them, because if the government cannot do it, then it cannot be done. Therefore, no one in the world has done it either. No one has been born into a world where such a giving environment exists. Because in order to give, the mindset of giving needs to be cultivated, and it has to be nurtured in developed countries. If I had been born in America, I wouldn't be giving in this way. Because there has to be a habit of giving. There must be a mindset of generosity. Without a mindset of generosity, it cannot be done. After that, your wife has to like it. Your mother has to like it. Your children have to like it. The team around you has to like it. All of those people can come together to make it happen in this country. It cannot be done in a country where giving is concerned. That's why no one in the world gives in this way. But we have given. I truly understand the value of the temple. We know that the monks have dedicated their entire lives for us. However, how many people actually see that? I saw in the newspapers the day before yesterday that people are taking away the monks' offerings. Because of that reason, the 2000 monks are trying to leave from being a monk. This is a problem. But there are 220 lakhs to give to 2000. Why did this become a problem? You can even take a curry and go to the temple. Even one curry is enough. Regardless, we must preserve this. Because we have established this entire DP education to provide education to children. However, if we just give education to children, in the future, we could also get a robot from the child. If we haven't taught the children ethical values, then we haven't developed human qualities in them, and the child will become a robot. But a robot can be rented for $50 5 years from now. Ultimately, what matters for this child are these ethical values. We have accomplished that. The 4,000 parents are here alongside 10,000 true contributors to the temples. It was my mother who brought me to the temple. But now, children bring their parents to temple. I completed that in 450 days. Additionally, let me share a good story about this from Kurunegala. I became a minister 2 years ago. I worked for 16 days. I went to the office even on my holidays. I worked for about 80 hours. During that time, I had the immigration office in Kurunegala under me. However, they cannot issue passports. The office in Kandy can't issue passports either. The same goes for Matara and Vaunia. I had a meeting and asked why they couldn't issue them. They said they were planning to upgrade the software and it would take about 6 months to issue them. I asked why they couldn't go live without upgrading the software. They said there were minor issues with it. I asked what the issues were and offered to help resolve them. I told them I would give them about 3 more hours. If they couldn't manage that, I said I would set up the live system in 3 hours. The meeting was around 10 o'clock. They said if they could do it by tomorrow morning, it would be possible. I then stated that the issues with the software, printers and passports were the problem. The officer who was in Kurunegala is here with us now. A job that couldn't be done in 3 years was completed in my one meeting. If you work, you can do as much as you want. However, for someone like me, I can change a ministry within 10 or 15 days because I have written the methods for changing these 23 ministries in my book. A common person who works never speaks with their mouth. First, he put their ideas on paper. Sometimes that paper can have about 25 pages. They look at how things are done in other countries, and after compiling all that, they end up with about 3 lines. In my book, I had 3 lines like that and 2 others. However, to put it well, there's a need for the ministries to be changed as mentioned on Dhammika.Perera.lk. Because I've seen people in the country just get on stage and talk about problems. However, our education provides a little help for that because they only know the problems. They don't know how to solve them. To solve problems, one needs to have a piece of paper written by that person. No one without that written paper can't solve any problem. Because we haven't been used to speaking from a young age. If those people say something today, even if it's heard tomorrow, it cannot be conveyed to anyone. People forget. After 24 hours, what was said is not remembered correctly. They just say it there. I'm talking about this because I want to know where you learn to speak now. Either someone told you or you read it in a book. Can countries be developed this way? Now that software has not been given to Kurunegala for 3 years, and it's still dragging on. Why? Because they don't know how to link the software. If someone asks about it, they are saying that to give them 3 more months and they will give it. They can't do it with me. Less than me, you can't escape even looking at the horoscope if anyone does. Why did you come? Why did you take that number? So if you can't teach it, then you can't. It's really not possible. I went to someone's house yesterday. They told me that when they went home, they were told to put 5 steps according to Vastu Shastra. I asked why they put 5 steps according to Vastu Shastra. I don't know, sir. A person told us to put these 5 steps. I said, that's not Vastu Shastra. That's just architecture. It should be either 3 steps or 1 step. Why? Because 95% of people put their right foot on the step. With the first step, you can unlock with your hands. But if there is a second step, your left foot is on it. If your left foot is there, you can't unlock with your right hand. It's difficult. That's why when building a house, you put either 1 step, 3 steps or 5 steps. Because if you have the first step with your left foot, you can't unlock the lock. If it's an even number, you can't open the door because your left foot is there. When the left foot is there and the right foot is there, it gets tangled. Whether it's architecture or out of fear, it doesn't matter. But the practical work must be stated. Just like that, I developed the complete transport plan for Colombo. After doing that, what came next was all these bus problems. To solve all the bus and train problems, all the buses coming this far should stop. Let's say a bus is coming from Kurunegala. The bus should stop at Kadawatha, and from there it can go to Colombo or Homagama with good low-flow air conditions like in England. They should go from there. Because if someone is going from here to a place like Kalutara, they'll have to cross the town. But as of today, that's no longer necessary due to the highway. However, when I was going to build a bus stand at Makumura, I planned to design the bus stand and the train station together. I asked the architect how many steps would be included in the staircase. The architect said there was no specific count and they would adjust it based on height. I told him that wouldn't work because children would be running around here and this is a public place. The steps need to be safe so children don't fall while running. The architect replied that he didn't know of such a requirement. However, in British architecture, that's mandatory, especially if it's a school building. If children are climbing a staircase that turns to the left, they must start with their left foot on an even numbered step like 2, 6, 8 or 10. This way, the child's left foot lands on the last step and they can turn and place their right foot on the next step without tripping. Otherwise, they could fall. When I finally told this to the architects, they didn't accept it. Afterward, I called a friend in England and asked him to send me the specific law which confirmed the rule. Even for a small matter like this, you need knowledge. I could tell someone that I'm building a bus stand, explain all the problems and provide the solutions. But knowing the method is crucial. Many mothers have a prayer that all children should study well. My dear son, study well, and my dear daughter, study well. However, parents often lack the knowledge to guide their children on the path of how to study. So all they have is that one prayer. Praying is one thing, but actually working toward it is another. I'll tell you more, since I was already talking about the bus stand. The Nilame of the Khataragama Devalaya once called me and said he needed to build a bus stand that would cost about 200 million rupees. I asked him why it would cost that much. He explained that they needed to rebuild it with 40 parking bays for buses. I told him that there wouldn't be a need for 40 spaces. The entire area has been used for the bus stand from the start. I advised him to bring 2 assistants early the next morning and count and mark each bus arriving every hour to see how many are actually needed. In the end, we found that a queue of 5 buses would suffice. He confirmed that the flow could be managed with 5 slots. So I told him to go ahead and build just 5. He hesitated, saying he was worried about reducing it to 5, given that there were initially 40 spaces. What if it turned out to be a mistake? I told him to suggest whatever number he felt comfortable with. He then said the design would look nice if we added some slots, perhaps reaching a final count of 9. I suggested he stick to that number without overbuilding to 41. In the end, we completed the Kataragama bus stand with 17 million rupees. Now I believe the remaining space could be sold for around 200 million. There are so many bus stands across Sri Lanka with extra space going unused. If you address an issue by considering the required area for the bus stand and solving it without unnecessary expense, this is the outcome. Because of this, the country faces similar issues in many places. So problem solving like this isn't as big of a task as it may seem. Now look, in 2010, I spoke to the then President Mahinda Rajapaksa and told him, "Sir, we need to introduce IT for school children in education." He said he also had a similar idea and that we should set up 1,000 labs in schools. So I was genuinely happy about this. After about a year, when I checked back on the progress, no one could even design or initiate it. I tried to call, but it didn't go through. On my second attempt, I went back to talk again, and by the third time, I realized this project wasn't going to happen. But I hadn't given up. I built the first lab myself, a lab for 40 students with 40 computers, named it the DP Computer Lab, and even prepared a board for it. 3 days before the opening, I went to see how it looked. When I saw the DP Computer Lab, it looked beautiful. And I thought to myself, now if this carries my name, that's all it will ever be. I felt it wouldn't be right to have my name on it or my board displayed, which made me very upset. So I told them to remove the board entirely. That's enough, I said. Let's put a government name on it and get this started. And that's when it started growing in numbers. I renamed it as Mahindodaya Lab and we opened it. When the president came, I asked him, "Sir, isn't this enough? Are we going to build the 1,000 labs now?" He said there wasn't a budget for 1,000 labs. He said, "I'd build 400 for you." Right then, while I was speaking, the secretary was there and he wrapped up that task. That's how we got the first 400 labs built. But after that, I kept pushing and eventually achieved the 1,000. Even with 1,000 labs though, as our chief monk said, there's still no system like there was in the Nanasala centers. And I hoped the Ministry of Education would create a system. Because like with Nanasala, our monk noted that without a system, no matter how skilled the teachers are, they can't effectively teach, nor can they deliver uniform instruction across different centers. And I know President Mahinda Rajapaksa well. Whenever it's about education, he'll take the phone call. In Sri Lanka, the political science that everyone learns teaches a principle from Machiavelli's book: to create an uneducated population, as it's easier to control people who are uneducated and poor. This is the main theory every student learns in political science during A-level studies in Sri Lanka. However, this concept doesn't apply to President Mahinda Rajapaksa. I've never heard him practice this idea, and it doesn't apply to me either, as I haven't studied political science. I know this. By 2012, I had started the project, and by 2015, we had completed the 1,000 Mahindodaya labs. However, no one took it forward from there. In 2016, when my daughter became second worldwide in the EdXL curriculum, my wife suggested that both you and your daughter will be angry if anyone fails in maths. Let's teach mathematics to the world. That's how we started DP education. Because I also feel frustrated if someone makes a mistake with calculations, but I only get upset if it's an accountant or an engineer who miscalculates, since they are supposed to have the knowledge. So it is the same for my daughter as well. We decided to teach math properly, and that's how DP education began. We started in 2016, and by 2019, even before COVID hit, we already had mathematics content on YouTube. With COVID, we were able to provide full subject coverage. By 2023, DP education had become the top platform in Asia for school education, surpassing countries like Japan, Singapore, Malaysia, Korea, and India. But today, despite having a free platform, schools still teach in different ways. Many students dream of going to a top school in Colombo. Only 3 top schools in Colombo, according to last year's results, and they are girls' schools. But it's different now. Whether it's Badulla Central College, Pinnavala Central College, or Anuradhapura Central College, they are all learning from DP education. The whole country is connected with us because we have provided smart classrooms to 675 schools. But that's not enough. Some schools funded by parents have up to 10 out of these 10 classrooms, and some have 7. I have solved this issue almost entirely. But what remains is to ensure every school has a few smart classrooms. In addressing this, I saw an issue. Today, if we want to build a system with integrity, we need to ensure quality education even in our religious institutions. That's why I attempted to establish DP Pirivena as a fully online educational system. Of the 800 Pirivens, only about 400 have rooms that can be securely locked. The rest operate in small, inadequate spaces or under temporary sheds. Since I wanted to provide solutions to problems like theft and weather damage, I imported a specially designed steel cabinet. This cabinet is both theft-resistant and waterproof, and it can be installed even in simple structures like sermon halls, enabling us to use smart classrooms effectively. I'm in the process of equipping the remaining 400 Pirivens with these smart facilities. With this setup, both theft and moisture concerns are addressed, showcasing our approach to problem solving. Now, a message to all parents and students. How many students, knowing they have school tomorrow, prepare their books and bags the night before with their mother's help? This simple planning allows for a better sleep without having to rush in the morning. Tackling tomorrow's problems today, like organizing for school, can prevent unnecessary stress and ensure a good night's rest. The passport office in Kurunegala, which I mentioned earlier, now issues around 500 passports per day from the Kurunegala office. Otherwise, if everyone from Kurunegala wanted a passport, they would have to go to Colombo. Nowadays, those in Kandy are getting around 400 or 500 passports as well. In the end, we're talking about the environment. This is what the environment is all about. For example, if 500 people have to travel to Colombo, it would mean around 10 buses going back and forth. Even if 50 people went to Colombo, that would be 10 unnecessary buses. Imagine the diesel burnt, the blocked roads due to the volume of vehicles, the delays for other vehicles, and ultimately the time wasted for people. When we think about the environment, most people only think about trees. Since you're reminded of trees, let me share that Sri Lanka has 1,496 species of endangered trees. I have documented each one of these 1,496 species. Recently, there was a big issue when someone tried to cut down a Pandukaranda tree for a highway project. So I asked where it should be replanted. I have around 30 Pandukaranda trees with me. But to this day, no one knows where in Sri Lanka these trees should be planted. I have spoken with the Forest Ministry and the Perera Botanical Gardens, and to date, I've only been given 7 trees for this particular district to plant out of the total 1,496 trees. But I benchmark Australia. In Australia, if a tree species is endangered, they have designated areas to plant them, whether on a mountaintop, mid-mountain or wasteland. They have everything documented. This way, people know exactly where to replant endangered species. Now, how are we supposed to know where to plant our endangered species in Sri Lanka? Has anyone come up with a solution to that issue? No. But if you put a microphone on a stage and talk about it, they'll say they'll plant trees across Sri Lanka. That's how they claim to solve these issues. In Australia, when it comes to endangered bird species, some forest areas frequently catch fire, risking the extinction of certain bird species. They freeze the eggs of these birds in case of emergency. So if a fire breaks out, they can revive the bird species by hatching the eggs and releasing them back into the forest. When I learn by observing such examples, I learn to reach that same high level. So having learned at that level, when I look at this, it really feels like a mental hospital. That's because I always aim to reach that high level when tackling any issue. That's the main reason behind my success. I openly share this success with everyone, but sharing it requires a bit of effort. When you all see an easier method, it's natural to think it's easy to do. But no, when it comes to actual work, you need to go into detail and work through it step by step. I think I've shared some valuable insights with you today. Now let me tell you what opportunities are available in this IT field for young boys and girls. When we talk about the first Project 100 in America, figures like Obama, Bill Gates and Mark Zuckerberg came together to design programs to help children develop their minds, create structure and build patience. That's what we are doing in the first Project 100. I believe the parents of the children who completed Project 100 have already seen a difference in their child's approach. They are starting to work in an organized way. This is all thanks to the system we are teaching them. This is the latest system implemented in America. If your child completed the first Project 100 in America, the fee would be around 1 million rupees. That means you have already learnt worth 1 million rupees. After that, the homework would cost another 1 million rupees. It's the child who would complete this homework, and in doing so, the child gains knowledge worth around 2 million rupees now fully at home. That's the message behind our song as well. Let's rid our hearts of poverty. Now knowledge is already in homes. All that's needed is for parents and children to have the inner strength to continue this. That's because the environment around them could lead children astray at any time. People will constantly question whether this is worth doing, or if the child is too young for it. Today in America, by the age of 14, a child can secure a job in IT. That's why I tell every parent that their child can indeed become a doctor or an engineer, but if they don't know IT or English in the future, nothing else will be possible. Look around and you'll see 10 years ago, people in villages aspired to become doctors. Where are they today? If someone wants to become a doctor, they can join DP education and focus on their A-levels. Becoming a doctor is achievable, and there's no problem with that. However, to prepare a doctor suitable for the future world, it is essential to acquire IT knowledge along the way. So when children complete the initial 100 projects and then continue up to 252 projects, they reach a level where they can build websites and apps independently. Starting from Project 252, we are now moving towards helping children understand how to earn money. Given the economic conditions at home, we can solve a lot of issues if we teach children how to earn, as we've realized by observing the current situation of children in Sri Lanka. For instance, there's a boy in Nuwara in grade 10 who earns about 70,000 rupees a month, and another boy in Gampaha, also in grade 10, who earns around 1.5 lakhs. Just recently, another boy in Kandy told me he earns 1.5 lakhs but is a bit shy to say it. He said, "Sir, with my knowledge, 1.5 lakhs is actually a small amount." We see more of these kinds of kids today. Yesterday, a monk from Kandy contacted me regarding a child interested in creating a website for Pali studies, asking if I could speak to the boy. I explained that we've covered traditional studies in both Pali and Peruvian education and told the monk to help build the website by drawing from our ancient knowledge systems as we've already developed it similarly in Pali. I'm telling everyone that if we continue with this approach, I'll ensure these kids know exactly how to earn money. Only if people in this country start earning can this country develop. As you're well aware, in 1950, our GDP per capita income was $89, with Japan at $90 and Singapore at $35. We were the second in Asia, just $1 behind Japan in 1950. However, we didn't prioritize education because we focused on Machiavelli's work, learning political science from it. A society was created which preferred uneducated individuals. Today, Japan's per capita income is $33,000, while Singapore has excelled even further, driven by Lee Kuan Yew's belief in education. He didn't even write about it in any book because, as he said, one must keep secrets about life's success. In 2007, as chairman of BOI, I spoke with someone who worked directly with Lee Kuan Yew in Singapore. I asked him why Lee Kuan Yew placed so much emphasis on education but never mentioned it in any of his books. He responded that he had been scolded for asking about it, as secrets of life should remain unwritten if they lead to success. Lee Kuan Yew's books therefore do not mention education directly. Our people read only the rest without understanding the hidden message, which has no secret if the real essence is missing. I believe if parents and children all come together to prioritize proper education, there won't be any issue. If we secure the first position in Asia by implementing quality education, others will eventually want to learn from us. What I mean is not to say that children shouldn't go to tuition. Some kids today are actually losing their ability to think by attending tuition classes. I never say that they should avoid tuition altogether. However, if a child is struggling academically despite attending tuition, there is the DP education option available to support them. Sometimes the tutor they go to might not be very good. So we need to be mindful of that. In our home, we encourage our kids to focus on achieving at least a passing score of 80 or 85. We primarily look at how they earned the remaining 15 points. My wife's job is to clarify the areas where they lost the 15 points. Sometimes, she even works a bit harder than usual. Even if a child scores 97, she checks how they lost those remaining 3 points. Because if we don't teach them, they might make the same mistakes on the next exam paper. If they make another 3 mistakes, their score drops to 94. This way, their scores can keep decreasing until they are barely passing. You must have noticed that students in grade 6 tend to perform well, but by grade 10, their performance often declines. As parents, we should identify where they are making mistakes. All this information is available in the DP education program. It's essential to capture those scores correctly because I focus mainly on math, science and English, and if our kids also know some IT, they can navigate life better. There are no issues with that. However, they must learn these 2 subjects well. As time passes, if anyone has questions for me, I'll be able to answer them.
Good day, sir. I'm Chatura Dilum. I'm currently coding at the Panduwa Snuara IT campus and at the same time studying as a first-year law student at the University of Jaffna. So far, I have completed several projects, 100 homework assignments and created a few apps. Alongside my higher education activities, I am determined to complete Project 251, connect with the Silicon Valley office and become a lawyer in the future. How can I manage this along with my profession, sir?
So how many more years do you need to become a lawyer? How many years do you go to the university in Jaffna?
4 years, sir.
You have 4 years. So you are currently in your first year.
Yes, sir. First year.
If you are studying IT, you have some work to do. Make sure to manage your learning well. You should complete this work in an orderly fashion and then your stress will be alleviated. However, do you accommodate in Jaffna?
Yes, sir.
Then you should be able to get a computer and the internet connection from the university or somewhere else.
Yes, sir.
After obtaining them, we can guide you on how to work for foreign companies like Fiverr, Upwork and Freelance after completing Project 252. You should be earning around 5,000 rupees. The Mahapula scholarship is 5,000 rupees. But if you can earn 30,000 or 35,000 rupees after 6 months, your issues will be resolved. We can help you with that. We plan to launch this project in 3 months. After that, you will easily be able to go there in about 6 months. Just make sure to finish 252. Once you finish project 252, you can become a good professional website developer. Then you can create websites for hotels, salons, groceries, etc. and make a living that way. Alternatively, you can work for foreign companies and live that way as well. Currently, there's a teacher at the campus. You can ask the teacher from our head office for assistance. We also want to see people like you earning money. This way, you can solve the problems faced by homeowners through your efforts. I believe I wish you well to become a great lawyer. Additionally, you'll be knowledgeable in IT, capable of working systematically, and you can also do online consultations to earn. So you will have all these options in the future. Therefore, I wish you success in achieving your goals in life.
Thank you, sir.
Good day, sir. My name is Chandana Denuka Karunasena. I have completed 32 projects in a month. I am studying at the DPIT campus.
Son, which grade are you in school?
I am in the 5B class.
Now that you've completed 32 projects, can you make a butterfly animation well?
Yes, sir.
So can you create a bunch of butterfly animation too?
Yes, sir.
But you understand now, right? You can solve problems better than before.
Yes, sir.
If another problem comes up, you're not scared, right?
No, sir. No,
You
sir.
used to be scared, didn't you? Did you not feel scared when you first started learning this? You used to think about it a little when problems arose, right? Now you're not scared.
No, sir.
After Project 32, you will have to create apps. So make sure to create those as well and find success in your life somehow. We will help you whenever you need it. We know there are students like you out there. I have many students like you. Now there's one student working in another company. Did you see that? I can give you that video. That student is currently working for a company in the Netherlands. So don't be afraid of anything in your life. Let's move forward with courage, because the best job for you is in IT. You don't have to struggle to do IT. You have a good head on your shoulders. With 2 hands, we can do this work well. There are many students like you who can learn well from us. I wish you great success in life.
Thank you, sir.
With the permission of the respected monks and everyone present, I am educating this child with the Ethkanda teacher. This child has special needs. In approximately 1.5 months, he has completed 64 exercises. Are you looking forward to doing anything for children with special needs in the future? As a parent, I would like to ask you if there's anything we can do together.
Yes, we are indeed solving many problems for children like this. It's a very big thing for us to help those who come to us, because the IT field is precisely where these children can excel. So there's no problem there. Let's talk personally and see how it goes. The mother should bring this child. By project 252, he will be at a level where he can fully create any website in the world.
He is very interested in information technology, sir. He understands a lot about it. Is that an inherent ability? I'm not sure. But he approaches it with great enthusiasm, sir. He quickly grasps those concepts.
Nowadays, children thrive in these areas.
Then, sir, I am very
All right,
grateful.
I will speak with the child. I pray for your success in life.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Hello, sir. My name is Perera. I am currently studying at the Kurunegala Center. Sir, I have a hope to pursue commerce for my A-levels. Many children want to learn well and excel. I would like to become someone like you one day. Sir, how do I create a path for that?
Honestly, if you want to be like me, the easiest way to create a path is through IT, as it is now. Because my parents had money in my background. That helped me get here. However, it's difficult for children like you to find that kind of capital. The best thing is for you to focus on what you can get. I also like that you are pursuing commerce for your A-levels. Because in Sri Lanka, you don't get opportunities in IT as you might expect. The child who completed our Project 64 did A-levels in IT. So focus on doing our projects in commerce. After that, I can guide you on ways to earn money. Later, I will explain how to start an IT company, because I want you to get used to earning some money for about 2 years first. From there, we can practice how to open a company and how to recruit people. Because if people like you start a company, then you can provide opportunities for others in Sri Lanka too. Right now, we are just looking for foreign companies. There are also some IT companies in Sri Lanka. So I wish you all the best in opening a company in the future. But even if you complete your A-levels, you can earn money. If you talk to that teacher, and if you have any needs, you can also contact Miss Dhammika. We are helping with those things now. That's what we are doing these days. So I pray for you to succeed in life. Don't worry too much about making money. If we had parents with money, it would be one way to earn. Otherwise, we can still manage. For many people, that's the problem. When parents run out of money, they have no capital to start a company. But we had capital because our parents were in business. That's why I came here. It's not something everyone can do. So let's work on ways to earn money right from the start. I pray for your success in life.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you for doing such things for children get your money.
We now have to give certificates. All parents and children to rise up, and we will give them the certificates. The certificates need to be given directly by the parents to the children. Everyone should get up and collect their certificates. Now, how much do the children appreciate their parents? Do they communicate well every day? Or have they reduced their conversations a bit lately? Do the children know that if they can smile with their parents about n times a day, there is no greater joy for their parents? What the children need to do is simply laugh with their parents. Just raise your hand if there are children who laugh about 10 times a day. It's not that hard. That means you all should smile with your parents about 10 times a day, looking directly into their eyes. Are you all smiling well? But starting from today, everyone should laugh and talk with their parents, because that's how mothers feel alive. Right, so you all need to do that. Are you talking nicely and looking into your mother's eyes? You need to talk while looking into her eyes. You need to smile about n times a day. Are you at least hugging your mom and dad? Now that you're a bit older, those things will change. Let's do this today. Take about 30 seconds to look into your parents' eyes and give them that certificate. Now give the children their certificates. Make sure to look into your parents' eyes first. Are you all looking into your parents' eyes? Right. Now take the certificate and hug lovingly at your mum and dad. Everyone, hug them. I can't see anyone hugging. Mums and dads, hug each other as well. Some of you still seem not to be hugging. Hug lovingly. Now see how much joy you have. Give it to your mum and dad. Are you happy? You rarely get opportunities like this, right? They're always busy, aren't they? From now on, you need to live like that with your parents. Look at the joy you all have. I can see everyone. The children are laughing and the mothers are laughing too. Did you see the difference? Do they need money for that? They seem to be living as if they've gone to heaven. Now see if you've gone a little bit to heaven. That's what life is about. Those feelings cannot be bought with money. If we could be that happy, I wouldn't have come here. What you can do with money is not the same as this joy we're talking about. You have to act on it yourself. So stay like this from now on. It's not like before. Everyone is smiling now. Everyone's face is lit up with smiles. Look at the difference. You should do that every day. Then you will be able to laugh with your parents every day. I am grateful to all of you for coming here. I pray that the children have a prosperous year with their parents. And DP Education, we aim to develop all these programs further with all of you, bringing them to you from here and beyond. In the meantime, we will also teach you how to earn money from here and beyond in 3 months' time. So staying with this is the only thing you all can do. I hope that this will inspire courage and confidence in you all. And with that, I will conclude my words. I am eternally grateful for the actions of the esteemed individuals who conducted this. Without the esteemed individuals, I wouldn't be able to carry out this duty. Because I believe the commitment of these esteemed individuals, the expenses they incur, and the things they sacrifice for the sake of others means that the people of this entire country owe them a debt of gratitude. I also pray that there will be great success in the endeavors to educate these children. Thank you very much.